sandals and shorts, and surf and scuba and sand and sailing and soccer. San Diego, California.
And a mic.
Seasons, greetings. Welcome to Two Balls and a Mic, episode 258, 2025 edition. San Diego FC have a couple of announcements. They have signed Emmanuel Boateng to the roster, filling out the rest of their starting 11 and practice squad with the addition of Anis Saidi, 16-year-old. Is he going to get some play time? We'll see. We'll talk about what this means. SDFC also needs a practice squad. Really think about it. But we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of that. But also, we're going to go ahead and talk about so much news to go ahead and talk about with San Diego FC. Their partnership with Club America, partnership coming up with the Liga MX team. That's two partnerships with Liga MX teams coming up for this team. A couple of announcements as they ramp up for preseason. Players reporting soon to the Siquan Right to Dream Academy here with Alejandro El Chia Villaseñor. I want to say season's greetings to everybody. I want to make sure everybody's
Happy New Year.
enjoying it.
It happens on the comments too.
It happens on the comments too, and it's everybody's okay. Season's greetings to everybody who's joined us. We're gonna do some cool giveaways coming up, but we're also gonna talk about San Diego Wave. And hey, we've been talking about it. We've been projected this somehow. It's taken this long, but an eminent announcement of a new head coach is on the horizon. Who we think it's gonna be and who it actually is might correlate in those ways. We're going to get into it with our good pal, Abraham Cepeda, as well on that one, who had familial duties to take care of. But he's still joining us from beyond, from online. So it's all good.
He got scared of AC.
Some surprises, terrible SDFC memes on the community segment set up at San Diego. We do have more news on that as well in terms of the charity match that we're going to go ahead and put it together. That is definitely happening. There may or may not be SDFC v Wave aspects tied to this now. Might have a sponsor actually for it as well. But yeah, actually, 100%. That's exactly who it is. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to ramp up that. Let's talk San Diego FC goals, gaffes, and greats. And welcome to everybody who is across the SD San Diego verse. Again, we also spoke about it at the top of it last episode. And it was one of these things where we've talked about it, and it's really cool that we're in this venture and uniting forces. And speaking of cool things happening, San Diego Punto Futbol is finished in contract negotiations with the San Diego Soccers. San Diego Soccer's podcast, the official podcast of the San Diego Soccer's Overtime, is coming back under the umbrella of San Diego Punto Futbol on this very channel. So you'll see San Diego Punto Futbol here in this space having Soccer's MASL outlets with the great Craig Elston. Like that's insane that we've been able to.
So we're Craig's boss.
Have it's uncomfortable saying it that way. He's el maestro.
So I'm gonna need you to request on PTO. You need
hey, he's part-time. So technically Abe has 40 hours with us of part-time at reset every year. So
yeah, Abe, your hours reset. So.
And Abe, you have this creative freedom because even when you're here in person, it's fine. You can go ahead and put yourself in, put yourself out, like the hokey pokey, turn yourself about. You have that power at any point, and there he is, appearing, the great Abe Cepeda, and taking himself out. Oh man, I like Chris Benoit.
Happy New Year, Tony.
Happy New
How was
Year
your Wednesday?
to you.
That was not a good joke at all, Tony. How could you say that?
Who said that was a joke? You took it that way. It's malinterpreted.
A was like Happy New Year's, and then Tony was like Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm not an excitable person, which is a-okay, because there is some news to be excitable for when it comes to soccer in San Diego. SDFC, San Diego FC, is making moves, gentlemen, and I think with the news of the schedule coming out, with the rosters across the board getting completed, and in a lot of ways, everybody has a head start from San Diego FC in terms of squad building because they have a base. That's the difficult part with a founding team. You really have to get everybody's. It's an island of misfit toys in a lot of different ways with this roster build. Chiva, what are your thoughts on kind of what's happening on SDFC and what they're putting together? Because it seems like they have a plan. They clearly have a plan. Brandon Vasquez going to Austin FC. A lot of people thinking, hey, missed opportunity. We'll talk about that as well. I wonder what people have, what their thoughts are on that. But Chiba and Abe,
yeah.
over to you.
So, I mean, the big news today, right? They announced a signing, or they acquired Emmanuel Boateng from New England Revolution. He's a right to dream graduate, so kind of fits in on that scheme, right? He's an experienced MLS player. He's 30 years old. He's a right winger, but he can play like center forward as well, or attacking midfielder. So very agile player. I mean, we've seen some of his highlights the team has shared as well. So he's a player that's quick. He knows how to play in the league. He knows how to shoot. He's a lefty. I don't know if they have any other lefties that are as dominant as he is.
They have. There's a couple left foots on this squad.
I mean, it's exciting. I think it's a good signing. I think they're playing it safe a little bit. They already have a lot of younger players signed. So you with that, you also need to have some experience, right? So, Abe, I don't know what you thought about Boateng signing, but I mean, I think it kind of makes sense.
I honestly really like it to have someone with a lot of MLS experience to kind of understand what the schedule is like and help usher in these young players and like just from a very basic logistical standpoint, like knowing how the season is going to go, having a player like that, especially a veteran player that people can look up to and like gain knowledge from, it's going to help a lot. And then also being a graduate of the Right to Dream system is kind of like crazy and like fits everything that they want to do perfectly, which is surprising as well because now he understands that level as well. Now he's that Right to Dream graduate, going to hopefully be like teaching some of these young players, these teenagers, like what it's going to mean to be part of this grand system that they're trying to create.
And that's exactly it, right? Like he's a veteran in a lot of different ways, right? An academy player at his age, 30 years old, is definitely a veteran player because he's been doing this in this school of thought here. You see him getting lucky and fortunate, being in right place, right time from a shot and a rebound. But you can really see just in the split second, just some of his qualities where, he can split down the wing. You can see him directing traffic, really maneuvering between the lines really well and sticking with the play, right? Like if that's an attacking minded midfielder that is going to run hard at people, be annoying, and just be able to also defend. And I think defending is a huge aspect of what Boateng is able to bring to this team. The Ghanaian is actually in terms of compared to peers in the next 14 competitions. That's kind of the scheme here. He actually ranks in the 98th percentile of blocks and interceptions. So a player that's very versatile, and it really, again, goes into that mentality that the Right to Dream model and Mike Ibarras is going to go ahead and implement, that you need to change the shape of this squad in terms of their philosophy going down the field, but also being able to be fast and quick and pounce on the ball and be able to start a counterattack out of nowhere. A counterattack doesn't necessarily always have to come off a corner. You can start a counterattack from the midfield area, and if you really, it's really getting the other team on the back foot and taking them by surprise. And again, the experience that this player brings is something that both of you again have mentioned, and it's very apt. I think it's going in line with what an expansion team should do in terms of moves here moving forward with what they're postulating.
How do you guys feel about short players? I think he's the shortest player that SCFC assigned. He's listed at 5'6", probably. I don't trust listings in any sport, but he does look short on the pitch. Do you guys have any any opinions on short players when it comes to soccer?
Not when it comes to soccer. I mean, look at Messi. He's also around 5'6", and he's one of the greatest of all time. So I don't necessarily have an issue with height. I mean, like, unless it's like a solid like number 9 striker, like I do feel like they need to have a little bit more height when it comes to that position. But with Boateng, I think something that you're doing, and we've talked about it before, that SDFC is trying to look into, is players that are very versatile, right? That they can adapt to different positions when needed. That they can excel at a right wing, a center attacking mid position. We've have midfielders that can play at the 6, but can also play at the center mid position, but can also play attacking. So I think that's something that Tyler Hibbs is definitely looking at, especially knowing that the roster is really not going to be finalized until later in the season. So we'll see what it looks like down the line. But I mean, I think for now you do have a starting 11 that you can set on that field with a couple substitutes. So it'll be very exciting to see what they come out with in the preseason, how they rotate the players. So I am excited. Tony, I don't know if you want to answer what Ape asked about short players.
I mean, if you get the job done, you get the job done at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of my take on that, where you can be a short player in every position almost, except for goalkeeper. That's why Jorge Campos was such an exception to the rule. But
we like short kings out here.
yeah. And I think if you can make it happen now, even in the modern game where you have short center backs, as long as you're smart and be able to put yourself in the right position on both sides of the game. I mean, you look at Naomi Girma, she's not a towering figure, but she is what a center back is, really kind of being the prototype of the new modern center back on the other side, right? You can have the Van Dijks, this towering, massive, agile, powerful center back presence that you're never going to want to bump with. Or you can go ahead and get yourself a Cesar Azpilicueta, who, yeah, is a right back naturally, but can go ahead and play centrally because he can play a certain style that can adapt into a 3-back, a 4-back, and has that ability to distribute, and is exactly what Right to Dream is kind of looking towards. San Diego FC wants to go ahead and play this attractive style that's European in its nature, where it's total football 2.0, total football, Johan Cruyff. I know people are maybe familiar with that. It's just having every single inch of the field utilized and possession being king, because that means that you can go ahead and be more efficient but thorough with your play style, and you can mold it to however you want and set the tempo. Again, this is what San Diego FC wants to do. Do they have the pieces to do that? It's left to see. Is it going to be a case where they're going to try and be stubborn and play this way and not get it, and be down 2-0 early on, and they're still going to try to play this style, and it's not going to be good until Chucky hace una maquicada and he resolves something, and boom, you get a 2-2.
Chucky himself's also pretty short, so
yeah, I mean,
SDFC is signing themselves a couple petite princes, so I've been wanting to say that one. Like, that one's a good one.
Low center of gravity, could have crazy balance and agility
100%.
like Conte. Yeah, that's a player that you can definitely think of, and especially in the midfield, right? Conte on the wing, maybe not, but there's definitely instances where this can translate.
There's plays where Conte takes it down on the wing as well, and he can create dangerous chances, So
Yeah.
I think the possibilities are endless with a player like this. So, Abe, I don't know. You brought up the question. Do you have something against shorter players?
I like it, honestly. I think you need to have at least like a few short people on the team that like have that little extra energy and that power, because I think a lot of times you'll see like the shorter players get, I'd say, underrated because they don't have that just physical dominant presence. But when you have someone that can be in the league for this long and contribute to like a lot of different teams, it says something good about him that he's able to stay and keep performing at a high level, and then have a team like an expansion team want your services. It just says a lot about what kind of player he is, and I think this is going to be one of like the more important ones that we look back on, as far as like maybe like an emotional leader on the team,
Yeah, somebody who's been there, done that. And all right, so the bureaucracy of this, right? So San Diego FC officially announced that Emmanuel Boateng from New England Revolution, in exchange for $200,000, in 2025 GAM general allocation money. Boateng holds a U.S. green card. Again, I know that's necessary in these rules, but it's just funny to read. It's just cool. Throw that in there. Has a guaranteed contract through 2025 MLS season. When asked, sporting director Tyler Heaps, Emma's a seasoned veteran of the Major League Soccer League who has been a part of the very successful teams. His history and connection with Right to Dream is a huge benefit as well. As we look for the club to build the clubs from scratch, he provides flexibility across the front four and can impact the game in a number of different ways. We're excited to welcome him to San Diego. So there it is.
How long do you think he was on their radar? This seems like it's a player that they've always wanted, and they just kind of waited at the perfect time to be able to get him at a great price. We've heard from Tyler Heaps saying that negotiations are always happening with every single player. So if the price is right, that's when they kind of pull that trigger. So I think they've been in talks with the England Revolution about this one and just been eyeing Boateng for a while. But it just so happens that this was the perfect price point that they wanted, and they finally pulled that trigger.
I think that's the case. And Jay saying here, I discovered him on FIFA 17. He's got pace, and let's be honest, there's a lot of the learning that comes through the gateways of FIFA in the modern game. So don't take that lightly with a grain of salt as you will. But if it's an introduction to opening into further understanding, then I for one welcome that and will not scoff at it. It's opened my eyes to a lot of music in my younger years. Will SDFC be in FIFA 26? Yes, they will.
Be, yeah.
FC 26, excuse me. Using Messi as an example for being a short can really get easily fouled. That's how Messi gets the call. So sometimes, you get players that are just going to be in the way at times and are foul magnets. And so that's really part of being a player that's biting at the ankles and really getting to the nitty gritty of it.
Like that, los tumbas
and you know what? Again, this just is the nature of soccer, the optics wise, right?
Yeah. You gotta
short players get the benefit of the doubt of downing taller players. Sometimes you could be a little bit more physical and put a little bit more force into shoves and elbows, and they'll let that happen. Why? Because come on, you can't let the little guy. And again, no disrespect, but you can't get. Come on, what are we doing here? So
we saw that a lot with Taylor Flint when she was with the Wave. Just would always get fouled, but never got the calls just because she was like towering over every person.
Tony was very vocal about that. So
I
mean, it works on both the men's and the women's game. It kind of plays the same role there. But Boateng officially a San Diego FC player. Through 200,000 in GAM space. So
look, again, like
the GAM is going, the GAM is gamming, and the TAM is tamming.
I think at this point, just tell me when they're in trouble. Like, tell me when SDFC or any team is on the red line.
Tony, SDFC right now, the GAM is in gamming, dude.
Well, when they're redlining it, it's like, when you hear like the government is shutting down, like there's no more money, and they have to vote to reopen and whatever that means, right? Like, well, I know what that means, but I want to know when SDFC is like close to just being like fined because they're going to go past that line of just spending. I figure we'd know.
They got hella money.
But
the deals they've actually been making, it hasn't been like great amount of money. So this is an interesting take as well. Josh Yarrow up next.
Yeah.
This is a player that
we were talking about that months ago.
I mean, just with the San Diego Loyal connection, he's a pacey center back. It's kind of like what they're going for. They already have a good amount of players that can play that center back role. So I don't think they would go for Josh Yarrow. You never know at the end of the day, but
again, they need a practice squad.
They do.
They need a practice squad.
What they need is a right winger still, apparently. So we'll see what happens. There's rumors on a player that we're gonna talk about, but they also had another player signed, Anis Saidi.
Anis Saidi
from Philadelphia Union, 16-year-old talent. Obviously, he's going to be more of the academy-based players, like you said, Tony. Practice squad. They got him through 50,000 in GAM space, and most incentives go transfer. The incentives on transfers goes to Philadelphia. So this is a kid, 16-year-old kid that has
he's 6'1",
unlimited potential. 6'1", complete opposite of Boateng.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I can say about this move is the complete, again, like you said, the complete opposite in a lot of different ways, because it's interesting that one of the best academies in the MLS, the Philadelphia Union Academy, would let go of such a talent as SDFC is making him to be. Again, what the negotiations were, what the future lies, or maybe the player was more inclined to join SDFC in the project. That's always to be considered. But it's an interesting move because you also need players to start developing, getting the time with the first team. If this is to be like their sibling club as FC Northland and be the youngest team in the league like Northland is, and I don't know if that's a goal, just internally with SDFC to be the youngest team in the MLS. This is a way to do it. Like, you can go ahead and just stat pad in a way and get some 16-year-olds some minutes on the first team as well. And it's an interesting way of seeing things because you see it across the world now, right? More the age is just kind of shifting. Like Lamine Yamal, like great talent, but it's like, what is a child doing in La Liga at this point? Again, same age range with the debuts that I see in the USL and the MLS, just 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds having chances and opportunities now. It's a different world. So I don't know if it's going to be a move where, hey, it's for the 10 years from now, this player is going to go ahead and be the real deal here in San Diego, or what the real plan is, or just kind of try to implement and see if they can get somebody with an MLS Academy mentality already and install the right to dream model, right? Like in Pokemon, you only have certain moves. In Pokemon, you can teach your Pokemon a new move when you install a TM, and you can have them forget a move. Yep, Pikachu can learn Surf in Pokemon Yellow, right? But he has to forget Tail Whip. Okay, install Tail Whip, install Right to Dream, meld it with your Philadelphia Union, and see what happens. Again, it's very interesting how they're postulating and moving forward with this. See, will the academy team play in MLS next, or are they just going to be loaned out to Denmark or Egyptian team? Yes. Yes. Like, that's anything is possible here. And that's what everybody signed up for now with this is the Right to Dream model. And the goal for these players, let me tell you right now, is not to be an MLS player. That's not the end goal for these academy players, for the Right to Dream model. They want these players to go and play in Champions League, to go and play alongside Kudas, to go and play alongside these teams where, yeah, they're going to get great stories, but if they can have a player develop and be sold into a La Liga team, into a Serie A team, into a Premier League team, they'll take that. They will take that and cash it. So, yeah.
I mean, we all know this, right? It's the ultimate goal to go play in Europe, to play in one of the top, most powerful leagues in the world, to play in the Premier League, to play in La Liga, to play even in the Netherlands, Serie A. Tony, you said it. So we see Right to Dream just highlighting when their players score in Champions League or score a hat trick or anything like that, right? So, like I said, a lot of the goal is for a lot of these players is to go overseas, and I mean, like, some of the players in SDFC have already achieved that dream and are coming back to settle down and kind of like teach those players what it takes to get to that next level, right? Like Chippy Lozano. So you have players like Imbarsen who's played across the seas. I mean, there's a player rumored to be one of the next DP spots that's also played in Champions League. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, so I agree with you, Tony. The goal ultimately should be to go to Europe.
Yeah, 100%.
Part of that deal is that, like, sell-on percentage that Philadelphia retains the percentage of, which is interesting to me. It's like pretty low risk for Philadelphia if you really think about it. Like, they don't have this player anymore, sure, but they might have like a log jam up there, might have a similar position, things like that could like prevent him from eventually getting to that number one team. So if SDFC does eventually sell or transfer him to a team in Europe or outside of the country, they're going to get a huge number as part of that deal. So they still get the benefits of developing a 16-year-old. And then, so it's honestly a win-win deal for everyone.
Yeah, and again, it's a wait and see. Like this team is still imaginary. It's not going to be. And to answer, Ivan, saludos, Ivan Morelos, always commenting, always getting involved. As we'll move into a quick pause and move into the Zarape de San Diego, which will have to do with San Diego FC here with terrible MLS memes. Essentially, this team won't start until January 11th. So January 11th, officially for San Diego FC, is when the players start to report for preseason camp for entry medicals.
That's in 5 days.
That's in 5 days, gentlemen and people and everybody. That's 5 days. Like literally, people are stuffing themselves with Rosca de Reyes right now. With
A lot of them are
like,
probably already here in
they're
San Diego.
100%.
They have to be. They're already
trust
in
me,
their apartments.
trust
anything,
me.
So
They are Instagramming and
where do you think
putting
Chucky's
their
staying?
stories.
Where do you think Chucky's living?
Chucky,
La Jolla?
I don't want to dox him. January 13th, SDFC first training session, Monday. So January 6th today, on
That's
the
next week.
13th, on Monday,
Next week.
is their
from
first
today.
training session. Like icebreakers, like, hey, what's your name? Hey, what's this? Like, hey, go with somebody who's never been to Canada. Oh, go with somebody whose favorite food is pizza. Like that's literally what's happening there. January 25th, the closed door preseason against Phoenix Rising. There are connections there with the USL. February 1st, Saturday, closed door preseason match against Sacramento Republic. Good tests there. And then February 7th, they travel to Coachella because they will be part of what it was billed as the greatest North American preseason event of all time.
Yeah,
The
it
Coachella
is,
Valley
man.
Invitational, where they'll play Red Bulls and Timbers. That is going to be on February 12th and 15th, respectively. And then they will come back because they have to play an official game, essentially, not too long from there. So that's kind of the outlook here of San Diego FC. We'll continue with the discussions on SDFC and what is coming out, because there are rumors, there are names being thrown out there, and some things being heard here or there. So with that, we'll take a quick pause, but we'll send it over to our segment, our community segment. We'll say bye to Abe temporarily. Community segment where we speak with members of San Diego soccer, the general San Diego verse when it comes to the sport. And you come across a bit of everything and everybody. And somebody who I've been definitely enjoying is our next guest. Forged in the annals of the darkness of Padres fandom, is really somewhere where one can really put together this pressure-filled gem that has come out in terrible Padres memes. A great follow if you're a Padres fan, or maybe not a Padres fan, just fucking go enjoy it. But with that, we're gonna go into our setup. We welcome terrible San Diego FC memes to the podcast. Welcome tonight. How are you?
What's going on? First of all, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. I'm in the process of organizing this space and got a new mic and all this fun stuff. So,
Nice.
100%, man. No, I'm just glad you were able to get yourself a camera that could capture your stature. An imposing individual. For those of you that are not in the know, if you want to introduce yourself to everybody, just right off the gate, just go ahead and plug, because I mean this is elevated.
Just plug the plug. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna turn this down real quick.
Boom, boom,
There we
boom.
go. So I'm not getting blinded. Yeah. Anyways, name's Brandon. As you see there on the screen, terrible San Diego FC memes. Started with terrible Padres memes, which is what you had mentioned, and you'd kind of talked about, the Padres fandom, if you will. And today was a hell of a day for that. Lots of news that came out today. Basically, large portion of the fan base thinks our team is basically cooked. It's pretty fun. So, but yeah, so I've been doing that. basically the way that started was I was sending memes and other stuff to buddies in a group chat, and just decided to start posting. And now it's kind of grown into this. It took on a life of its own almost, and it's grown into what it is now. And then that brought me to where we're at now with San Diego FC, and I've kind of explained this before to a lot of people, but not a huge soccer fan, to be quite honest. Not obviously watch things like the World Cup, Olympics, stuff like that. And I just saw this as a time to get involved in something from the get-go, to kind of be able to say you were there at the first match and the first home match and all that fun stuff that comes with it. And right now, looking at like Padres, for instance, things are there's a lot of pessimism, right? Right now, we haven't lost a game. San Diego FC has not lost a game. We haven't won a game either, but we haven't lost a game. So it's all positivity right now. They could sign some random. I mean, most of these guys, I have no clue who they are, and that a lot of that comes with soccer just being a completely global sport, right? They can sign some guy from, honestly, Ivan. He's very active, and. So that's kind of where we're at. It's been interesting how much I've learned throughout all of this, and just the people I've met and the differences, right, between the communities and the culture. I had a phrase I was using for a little while. It's the Padres would never, and basically the Padres. And I don't blame them, but they're almost too big right now, and that culture is completely different. And it's while you're a fan, there doesn't really feel like there's a partnership with the Padres. And so I'm hoping that things continue with San Diego FC. I am in the supporter group with the Riptides. I got my season tickets to that supporter section, so I'm hoping that keeps building. Man, I'm really looking forward to those tailgates, because bringing that back to that area is something that I've missed.
And it's necessary for Mission Valley to have a ruckus area, and the Riptides are going to bring it. Barra 18 is going to bring it. Now I have to name all of them. The locals are going to bring it. The is going to bring it. Battalion 18 is going to bring it. Chavos from I already mentioned Chavos from Ultra. We need USG1A, the Dago Boys. The Independent Supporters Union. But this is what I kind of wanted to kind of take you and ask, like, where are you with soccer, right? This is why I find it fascinating, where you start something in a city that is known for soccer, but there's a lot of people who may not be into the sports, like you said, or have grown with it, but it's something that you seem to be enjoying, at least just even the pageantry of the creation of a club. As far as the nitty gritty, like, are you going to look at tactics and kind of want to have this be a gateway into the sport, or are you just kind of enjoying the, hey, it's San Diego, fuck everybody else? That's where
I think I can kind of speak to that when it comes to some of the other sports I've watched, right? Like when the Chargers were here, I had season tickets for them for 6 years before they left. I don't cheer for them anymore. But now with the Padres as well, I primarily just focus on that team. Now I know a lot, the teams within the division. I know them, but for me, I watch that team. Sometimes people will ask me, "Hey, who should we trade for? Who should we sign as a free agent?" Man, I don't know. I mean, unless they're like an all-star player, like, I don't know, like, and I watch a shit ton of baseball, right? Like, I've probably 162 games plus the playoffs last year. I probably watched 170 games last year. I don't, something like that. And so that's with my team. I do get into that, the nitty gritty baseball. Within the last 10 years, the stats have just gotten out of control. Like swing path and EV and barrels and ground ball rate and all this other stuff. That's just, it's insane. It's a little bit too much at times. But it can kind of help explain why things are happening. So I at right now when it comes to soccer, man, you throw that stuff at me, I'll probably be lost. But I'm down to kind of figure it out and stop watching. Yeah, exactly. So
Go for it, too.
Like I say, I mean, it's all about learning right through the process. I mean, I love just what you post, man. Like it's just like you're just a chill guy, dropping memes everywhere. Freaking fantastic. Where do you get most of your inspiration when it comes to San Diego FC and just any memes in general?
And it's wild with San Diego FC, right? Up until recently, there wasn't a whole lot going on. So it's I don't know. That one was hilarious to me. You read that an MLS duo, come on. You call us a duo? Like that's absolutely just ridiculous. They got to find a different way. Like I don't want to be associated with LAFC. I don't know. This is a play on something I did with the Padres, I think the last 2 years. It's just fun. It's off-season content. That's what that is. But yeah, I don't know. It's just there's a couple, just throwing. There's some of this stuff that's just there to be there. This I thought was interesting, right? And I wanted to do something with that announcement. Right. San Diego 2025 was on those scarves. And just kind of looking back at that and thinking of how long that seemed like forever ago. Right. And here we are. It is 2025 now. And it's, like you guys just, were talking about earlier, what is it? The 11th that they show up, and games are only less than a month and a half away or something like that. Well, the Coachella ones are pretty quick. And yeah, it's just I don't know. I just kind of think, something comes up and I just kind of think, hey, one, is there something I can do with this that's funny? But at the same time, to be quite honest, to put the information out there in a way that is enjoyable to me, whether it be a signing or something like that, if we can find some way to you get that information out there, but you also make it what that's a very good question. Seeing as how I have season tickets, I'll be going to the San Diego FC game. That and there's just less of them, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
There's just less of them, right? So and that's, man, the baseball season is an absolute. Yeah, well, that's a very good point too.
Yeah.
Cheaper beer. Well, tailgating is a lot easier at Snapdragon than, well, hopefully it's the talk at least. Tailgating should be a lot easier at Snapdragon than it is. I mean, you got the bars downtown, but they're all expensive too. So, but yeah, it's just, I don't know, just getting those ideas and again, hey, the next big signing that comes out, I was already trying to get. Any rumors that come up, I'm already thinking like, the one that's officially out the window now, right? Would have been Superman, right? Superman is gone.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the greatest name ever, Brandon. But, is already trying to think of ideas for that. Had he come our way, there was a slight rumor there for like a half second and that quickly vanished, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just kind of, again, just getting that information. Is there anything I can do with this? Let's just get it out there. And then a big part of it is just trying to build positivity, trying to build, energy. I have like a couple rules that I have lines I don't cross. And one of them you'll see from me is I never talk shit about one of our own players. Yep.
All right.
Brandon gang right there. But I never talk shit about one of our own players. That's just a rule I have for my account. Hey, we're in a chat, we're talking, I might talk shit. But as far as the public facing, I'm not gonna make memes about people on our team, that are doing bad or whatever. And that's just kind of something I come up with, just because they're still on our team. At the end of the day, as much as people talk shit about some of our long-term contracts with the Padres. Those long-term contracts aren't going anywhere. So, it's like, do I want to talk shit, or do I want to, I don't know, put some positivity into the universe, and hopefully they turn things around. So,
yeah, and then when Blake Snell joins the Giants, then
Well, yeah, exactly. Or the big example of that was 2 years ago, Josh Hader, right? So Hader,
and the Wave fan.
Hader drove me insane, right? But I wouldn't talk shit about him until, hey, once he was on the way out, then door was open. So
I love that. I mean, I think something I really like about your post is you make it relatable. I think I saw one about the general allocation money, and you put, "Don't worry, I don't get it either" on the bottom. I think that's something that just everyone relates to, right? Like, what the fuck is GAM? What the fuck is TAM? So I really appreciate that, because I think I got a kick out of that one for sure.
Yeah, and just getting it's not always something that happened, but it's something that the club puts out or whatever, and it's like, with the Padres, I actually did something kind of similar. The Padres put out an announcement that they were having their fan fest coming up, and a big Padres have lots of questions. So, I put on there, and fan fest / tryouts, and anyone can go be part of the team right now. But it's just taking these current events, and it's wild because it's like, sometimes I feel like if I don't post something within a few hours of something happening, that I've almost missed it. It's and that's just the way we live, on the internet and with all this stuff.
Well, somebody is on the call, on the job, and it's a nonstop. Just being on the internet is brave on its own. But you're doing it on two fronts. Brandon, it's fantastic to see you out there and really kind of see you take in this experience and really be about it. And just the way you're approaching it is so holistic, and the right way to do it, man. And if there's anything ever on the we can help, like, hey, what the fuck does this mean on the field? Like, what's going on? Like, what? Why is there 12 minutes of added? Like, anything. That's what we hope to kind of help people.
From what I understand, a lot of the questions that I have, a lot of other people don't know. Like, just like you said, stoppage time and stuff like that. Like, it seems like I'll be like, well, why was it 10 minutes or whatever? And then I'll ask someone that watches every day, and they're like, I have no fucking clue, right? Like, it's just, it's something. Every ref kind of adds a little bit. Every league is different, and it's crazy sometimes. But should be fun. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. You can find his pages over at Terrible San Diego FC Memes. That is spelled out. Terrible San Diego FC Memes on Instagram. He's also part of the Riptides, part of one of the groups in the Independent Supporters Union. You can get your tickets, $18 tickets still up until January 24th. It was extended, the period. Make sure you get those out there. So thank you once again, Brandon, for hopping on. And you know what? Let's keep this going. I'm really interested to see how you kind of intake the game itself, and just kind of go about it, and really
I want you to meme the shit out of Tony.
We'll see you over at a soccer's game. How about that? We'll meet you over at a soccer's game. Terrible San Diego Soccer's memes. I love that. Brandon, anything else we can have for you here?
No, that was it. Great. Thanks for having me on, and for sure, we'll definitely have to keep checking in every now and then.
Love it. Perfect. Thank you, Brandon, for joining. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you.
San Diego FC is the newest contender in the MLS, the 30th team in the 30th year of the MLS. And it's going to be coming soon. It's here. And I think there's a lot of hand wringing going on in a lot of different ways with San Diego FC, with what is it going to look like day one at kickoff, and the pageantry of it, as we were mentioning, like really everything being put together. This office, the front office, the team has pretty much mirrored each other in the construction of it, and there's a lot of new faces, new inputs, and it's almost ready to go. But the one set that I hope is ready to go, and I've always said this, and I hope the best, and los quiero cabrones, but that supporter group, that supporter section, like again, $18 tickets, get your people. Get your people there if you really want to be representative of San Diego and help rep
Black
the
is
619, 760, and 858s out there. Sign up for that.
Which one's 760? Which area?
More north,
East, north,
east. I've seen some Calexico stuff.
You're East County, so
But I am East County,
Mhm.
absolutely. But yeah, so
we're gonna talk about the next rumored signing for SDFC real quick.
yes, so there is more SDFC
Alexander Zubkov.
rumores. Alexander, as you said, say that again?
Zubkov.
Alexander Zubkov.
Zubkov.
Correct. An attacking player
Oye,
here.
le metió gol a Real Madrid, vato.
I mean, there it is.
Vato.
He scored against Real Madrid, and you know,
Dos pepinazos.
to be honest,
Madrid
who
in Champions
doesn't?
League. But
Who
to be
doesn't?
honest, Shakhtar, like he currently plays for Shakhtar. He is a right winger. This guy, if you know it, so anyone that follows Champions League or just the history of Champions League knows. But if you don't, Shakhtar is a Russian team. Ukrainian. Sorry. Yikes.
Well, pretty
yeah.
soon.
That just dominates for some reason in Champions League in the group stage.
Yeah.
Like they just somehow are the dark horses in every group stage, and they give some upsets that are insane. But yeah, Zubkov is a potential signing, the next potential DP signing for San Diego FC. They have been hinting that a right winger is close to signing. It's a player that they desperately need. So I don't know what you think about him, Tony. He's 28 years old. He's pretty much in the prime of his career.
Yeah.
Very talented winger. Like he's very skillful. It's kind of like he fits in perfectly at that right wing position if you think about it.
Yeah. So I mean, now we're talking. Now we're talking deep. The attacking Ukrainians are always good. I mean, historically, you go look at somebody like Andriy Shevchenko, completely different position down in the middle, right? But even then, if you want to think of I don't know if you saw him play Yarmolenko. He played on Sevilla. He played he is a good winger, mostly on the left, but can also play on the right. But essentially, like it's an attacking player that's going to complement Chucky Lozano on the other side of the pitch. And again, if you have an attacking, fast, quick player that can really dominate and do individual plays, and you know, take a rabbit out of the hat from time to time, and be able to have somebody risk those things, because guess what? Right behind him, you got Emmanuel Boateng, who's going to be a cleaner, and is either going to foul the guy after he loses the ball, or he can go ahead and complement in the attack and then go ahead and set the play up in order to go ahead and do a high press counterattack like San Diego FC is postulating and wanting to do.
I'm telling you, Tony, I've been watching Blue Lock, and no, Tony, don't laugh, because the way they explain the game, you're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it, Tony. I highly recommend it. I'm almost done with the first season.
So what you're saying, what you say the name, what is it? Okay.
Dude, it's an soccer anime based out of like a soccer academy that they invited they're trying to come up with the greatest striker in the world. They invited the top high school talents of Japan into the Blue Lock Academy. It is a very competitive thing where only one player out of hundreds will be able to represent Japan in the national under-20 team in the World Cup. So, and if you're out of Blue Lock, you're automatically just disqualified from being in the national team because you're not good enough. Their goal is to have the greatest striker in the world.
Pato, we found him already.
No, but I'm telling you, dude.
Pato,
like, this show is legit.
We found him already. Oliver Atom and then Lupi, wait. Let me tell you, Captain Double Cup. Like, that guy, Oliver Atom, let me tell you about a striker that SDFC really missed out on. Brandon Vasquez, who? Oliver Atom is the prototype striker that is just transcendent in the skill, the Ash Ketchum of the soccer pitch. only him in combination with Benji can really put Japan on the map. Back anyway.
No,
Is 29 the prime of a player career? Depending on the position, definitely. 29 could be and the later half of an attacking player's career, because again, attacking player, you need those fresh
there's some
legs.
late bloomers as well.
But you also, it's that fine balance of having the mentality, right? Having the maturity to be a goloso, have somebody who doesn't get rid of the ball and sometimes make the mistake of trying to go through a forest of 5 defenders and a legs system that is you're going to lose every time, but you still go for it. Or, you know what, I'm just going to turn around and live another day and pass back. And it's that maturity that kind of puts a player in the prime. A prime for a goalkeeper doesn't start up until 30s, like literally 30, 31, 32, 33. Hey.
By the way, none of the San Diego FC goalkeepers are close to 30. So.
If you add some up, you can probably get some 30-year-olds going. Guys going to the Coachella Invitational if gas allows it.
Maybe.
If gas prices allow it. Yeah, no, hey.
Of Blue Lock, really? Oh wow.
Pato, how are you?
I'm really enjoying it.
You cannot compare it.
Maybe I can't, but I'm personally enjoying it. Sorry.
His dad, he doesn't know yet.
Way to fucking spoil the shows for me.
You were
Suck.
never gonna
You
watch
fucking
that.
suck.
You were never
know.
gonna watch that.
You never know.
You were never.
Maybe
gonna watch
Drew
that.
makes a freaking soccer show podcast.
Okay, you get two. You get two.
All right.
You get 2 soccer animes. All right. So that is the latest on the rumor mill for San Diego FC. The matriculation towards the 2025 San Diego FC season has begun, and it is something that we are keen on paying attention to. I don't know if there's anything else, Abe, as you are preparing yourself for what's next. Hey.
No, there's not much else. I think he's a great player that fits the role perfectly.
Absolutely. There is something. The partnership. Absolutely. So San Diego FC have partnered with el tricampeón de la Liga MX, Las Águilas del América. USA, Chiva. USA. Let's.
Oh no. So this is a great partnership for San Diego FC.
Absolutely. What is going on here?
What
is going on? Oh, did you? Oh boy.
All right, let me deliver it.
What is going? Did you see this?
Yes, I see this. I can't believe Abe has that as a journalist himself.
Oh my goodness!
This is my grandpa's blanket. It was downstairs. I went to go grab it. For
see. As a grandfather of a journalist.
This is a great partnership for San Diego FC, partnering with the greatest soccer team of Mexican history, the current back-to-back champion, El Tricampeón, Club América, a team that has played in Snapdragon Stadium twice already.
Men's and women's side.
Men's and women's side as well. So
correct.
A second partnership with the Liga MX couldn't be a better one, to be honest, against a team that's just really almighty powerful. They keep winning the league. Don't know how. Play the theme song there. But yeah, no, this is a great partnership. I think, Abe, you were telling us that it's going to be a game at Snapdragon, possibly a game at Azteca, right?
Well, it hasn't been officially announced that there's going to be a game at Azteca, but when you have it's like a 3-year partnership, 2025 and 2027. I would assume that in 2026 you have the possibility to have a match there in Mexico City, which would be a good opportunity. And I think it is cool that they're like partnering with this huge club. It does leave in question where they stand with Cholos. Like you're going to have friendlies with Club América at Snapdragon, but you're not going to go to TJ. That's like right here.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. Maybe there's too much competition there, which
it's a little weird. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it does make more business sense for Cholos, a smaller team, to want the dólares compared to the second largest team in Mexico.
Think about it. They might not even play in Mexico because even America isn't playing at Azteca right now because of renovations. Who knows? Maybe by then it'll be done.
Jeff is right. It's going to be the World Cup. There's not going to be any club soccer in America or in Mexico that anyone cares about.
Yeah, no, I mean, It'll be definitely interesting. I mean, something to think about as SDFC in July is also going to probably be facing Manchester United when they come back to play for their preseason friendlies here at Snapdragon, which I mean, they're pretty much bound to do. They run out of a contract with Snapdragon themselves, so
Yeah.
that's going to be also a big opportunity for San Diego FC. Juan Mata being linked now, being a part owner of San Diego FC, having that Manchester United connection. There's no doubt in my mind that they will be having a match together as well. But yeah, these are definitely big things for San Diego FC. So we have an official date for this match. It's going to be June 21st, if I'm not mistaken.
June 21st.
Yeah.
For
America.
America and San Diego FC. Put it in the books.
And Cholos is when?
El 16 de septiembre.
Yeah, so this one's before.
Así es.
And Leagues Cup is when? That's
Hey,
also
Look at the
June.
schedule. Hey, did you not
babe.
see the dancing luchador, bro? Did you not? Did you miss that whole thing?
Yeah, what the
Like,
fuck, Abe?
what's going on? Abraham Cepeda.
It's been a while, man.
It's been
It's
a
a whole new
while.
year. It was last year. Come on.
Oh,
Come on.
I hate that joke. I hated myself. You know what? I shouldn't have made that.
Year near
Yeah.
you. You started going to the gym, Abe.
That is going to bring us, not that I'm excited for this. I'm never excited to criticize. It's just one to point out. But if and when we go into the deep end of San Diego FC and what will eventually be a really interesting way of playing and seeing how this team develops. And, I think it was said here earlier with Juan Garcia and evident that they're going to be a Philadelphia of the West, which struggled for a lot of time there, but eventually they played against LAFC and lost, but they eventually played against LAFC in a MLS Cup and lost. Which if that's what SDFC can give and this city is a championship game appearance, MLS Cup appearance, then I don't think people would be mad at that. Do you know what taxes still use? I mean, the basic look at Right to Dream. FC Northland is a 4-3-3 high press.
Pace.
Gonna switch into where did I have that?
But they're saying all this now. But what if this is all? What if this is all a ploy to get people to think like, oh, they're gonna be fast paced, they're gonna be this crazy, and then they came out on the field and then they're just slow, defensive, boring nonsense.
They park the bus. They play Mourinho style. That would be a great plot twist, and I would be all
genius.
for it. It would be chaos, and I would love it. Very boring style if that's the case, but then they somehow pull results. I would hate it, but love it at the same time. Is there anything else SDFC, Tony? I think you're trying to pull something. I don't know what else you guys have for SDFC.
I was just
again, 5 days till the players report to training camp. 5 days till the players meet together for the first time to have their first official practice. 1 week away, just for preseason to start and everything to get rolling. So the first game is days away. They're going to play Sacramento Republic in a closed door game. They're probably going to lose against Sacramento Republic in a closed door game against USL powerhouse.
Nobody will
Sacramento
find
Republic.
out.
Do you think we will have a San Diego Loyal-ish preseason where they don't post results or anything like that?
More
They're
than
not
likely.
going to post results.
They're not going to post.
You might get the USL team. You see that a lot where when there's like a lesser team, the lower team, they'll post like, oh, this person had this many goals or they did this thing during the game. Yeah. So maybe we'll learn from that way, but teams don't like to share anything about closed door scrimmages.
Barely have enough to play 5v5. I mean, yeah, 100%. You still have most of them being underage children.
¿Quién se cree el Pachuca o qué?
But
that was a great joke.
Whenever, it was.
Yeah, thank you.
Whenever we do have to criticize, I have the graphics ready, and people were asking, like, no, like, we're not going to be all happy-go-lucky. This is not a fan podcast. This is not fan media.
No.
We're going to get down to it, and we're not afraid to go ahead and talk about the dark side of the chrome. You have a lot of money.
El cromo está bien fuerte y poderoso, compa. Pasa la plumita.
Hey man, my family's here. It's Dia del Reyes, Rosca time.
¿Qué tiene?
All right, so I think
Tranquilo.
we've exhausted everything for San Diego FC for this week. Keep the discussions going on through the weeks up until next what?
And 4 of those are backup keepers.
And 4 of those are backup
Love
keepers.
that.
Absolutely, is exactly. Yup, that could
yeah,
not
you're
be.
not wrong there, Juan
You cannot be
Garcia.
more right,
Yeah.
Juan Garcia. But all right, let's go ahead and with that shift some gears because
We have a lot of NWSL to talk about.
there is a lot of
Lot.
so much NWSL that I cannot bear. Like if you
so
are
much
here,
wave to talk about.
so much wave, such wave, such great stuff to talk about because we do actually have San Diego Wave stuff. Everybody to keep the discussion going for San Diego FC. But again, it's going to be an interesting time here in soccer in San Diego, and the team is going to be sharing the pitch. Right, that there is currently not a pitch at Snapdragon Stadium. I was just demolished for monster trucks.
Monster Jam.
The giant used car tent sale at Qualcomm Stadium. Cars, trucks, SUVs,
Where Gravedigger was there.
Grave what? Anyway,
One of my
we
Gaffes'
have
favorite monster truck.
Is it?
Yeah, no, I asked him, hey, what's your favorite monster truck? He's like, Gravedigger. And I
He's
was
pretty
like,
cool.
"That's
He's a classic. He's a classic. But from what I understand, actually, the field that's going to be used for this season will be placed.
I heard it was in better condition yesterday than it was at some Wave games.
I mean, sure, it was out there that the football field that was used for the Holiday Bowl that is no longer there because monster trucks ate it up. Just like that. Is going to be in better shape. Not only that, it's going to be placed because Snapdragon will host the She Believes Cup before the MLS has their inaugural home match on March 1st. So interesting times. The She Believes Cup is going to be played at the U.S. Women's National Team at Snapdragon. Is a staple of here. When will they announce Lindsey Horan? That's going to be interesting. Hey,
2027.
We've interesting stuff. But in any case, San Diego Wave making not a lot of moves. The NWSL making not a lot of moves, and that was almost ironic in the way that it was.
Well, we got
set
an
up.
email from them today.
No, we didn't.
Well,
I got an email.
I got
Did
an
you?
email. You got an email.
You didn't check your email.
You didn't check it. We got an email from the NWSL.
Oh, from the NWSL. Yes, we
Yeah.
did. Okay.
Who were you
Okay.
talking
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
Wave?
Yeah. Oh,
No,
yeah.
Not
yeah.
from Wave.
No.
No, Wave is MIA.
Please no.
Wave is lost.
Yeah, no,
in
so,
the sauce.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what that pitch holds. But in any case, I think it's pretty clear who's been hinted to be announced for San Diego Wave. And something tells me that we might be right.
Think so?
I don't know. Abe,
You've been right. We've been
Oh,
right.
what, the
in
head
past.
coach?
Yeah, head coach
Oh.
Abe. What do you know?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that it's going to be.
I don't know,
Jonas
dude.
Sandoval.
Is it?
It's taken a really long time. It seems that they want to wait for the holiday stuff to not be eaten up by that news cycle, but there's so many news cycles that you got to be worried about. I think they're going to release it before January 20th. That is the rumor among media people, that everything gets released before January 20th because that's when inaugurations are, and then you have all these political news that you care about. So before then, I think the Jonas news will get announced. More interesting to me is when is the ownership group gonna talk to the people of San Diego, because they've been kind of silent this whole time. We don't really know who hired Jonas Sandoval. Is it just Molly? Who is in charge of the Wave right now? Jill Ellis left. She was the number one person over there. So
Yeah.
Camille Ashton is the one that we see on all the press releases, but we really have no idea who's in charge.
Yeah, I mean, you might be in charge, Abe, for all we know. But it's one of these things where there's power vacuums happening, and outside influences are going to need to populate this team because they also start off not too far away from now. The timeline is pretty similar for San Diego Wave and San Diego FC.
I will say this: Mr. Mansour has made more statements than anyone in the ownership group from Wave has.
Yeah, he's always happy to talk to us in San Diego, but that's true. And we'll actually we'll have here a small call to siren segment where I actually spoke on a pre-record with the president of the Sirens, the official supporter group of San Diego Wave, about just that, right? Like just talking in terms of like, well, what do you think about this community involvement of the new ownership? Like, do we give them, they had an interesting, tough year, San Diego Wave. Like, they could not have had a tougher year on and off the pitch. So it's understandable that everybody's hoping for better. The bar isn't set high at all. But in any case,
the bar is literally at make the playoffs for San Diego Wave.
No, just don't be an embarrassment. That's the bar. Don't be an embarrassment.
My bar was be normal. That was my bar.
Yeah. And I really think
So who's the head coach going to be, Tony?
His name is Jonas.
Jonas is the name. I don't know the song. I just wanted to keep it going.
Dave, do you know the song? It's by Weezer. My name is Jonas, carrying the wind. That's actually
that's my girlfriend's favorite band.
I like
Weezer. And you don't know the song My Name is Jonas?
No.
Did you at least get the reference of the album cover?
Yeah,
Anybody?
I got the album cover reference,
but his name is Jonas. Carrying the wind. It's a great song, Guitar Hero 3.
I'm gonna clip this and send it to her.
I can't wait for the She Believes Cup when the U.S. Women's National Team is playing at Snapdragon. Emma Hayes is going to be at that same pitch that Jonas Idevall's at. Jonas is probably going to be up in like one of the suites, and then there's going to be that awkward.
I love that.
Well, why is the She Believes Cup going to be a Snapdragon? After
because they love
such
it. Because San Diego's a destination, and you know what? Snapdragon fumbled the bag. There may or may not be litigation happening between the club and the company that is in charge of this, because
more
that's still
lawsuits for Wave
going back and forth.
I mean, that's what Wave needs to be involved in, more lawsuits.
Why not?
I think Southern California cares about women's soccer though in a way that like the rest of the country you don't see attendance wise. Like Angel City and San Diego Wave are like the most valuable NWSL teams for a reason. So if you can have these games in LA or in San Diego, they're going to, and I really like getting to watch these games.
Hey man, it just looks like San Diego Wave is involved in more lawsuits than points they had last season.
That's actually pretty true. I don't know which one of us did this, but I really like whoever just took it and wanted it to just throw haymakers and wanted violence. I'm just going to read this verbatim. There is literally nothing. The NWSL is a joke. And if they think they can placate people with a press release about a damn schedule footprint, do not care. It's 2 months away and people don't know when their team will play. That's pretty dumb.
Let us know in the chat who you think wrote that.
I mean, you could be right. You could be wrong. It could be Octagol.
Among the interesting things that did come from the schedule release thing, they said that there's going to be planned club exhibition games with international opponents, which is just basically the replacement for the Liga MX Femenil NWSL Summer Cup, and that's going to be from June 23rd to July 27th. So that's going to be a little bit of like a just pause point on the NWSL season.
Yeah.
It's a long time though when you really think about it. It's just you're going through the motions of a season, then just pause, and then you have to get back into it for the end.
And in speaking about all these rumors of who eventually will more than likely take the position of head coach, I did have again a chat with the president of the Sirens, Tally Lerner, because she actually a fan of Arsenal, the WSL team where Jonas Idevall came from. So if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and throw over to that interview here and go ahead and enjoy. And this is the inaugural 2025, technically speaking, Call of the Siren. right, and we are back here. Thank you for throwing it over here, Tony and Chiva from the future. But now we have the one and the only Presidente of the Sirens, Tally Lerner. Welcome to
Thank you.
Football. Two balls in the mic. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I mean, we were just talking off camera. The holiday funk is now kind of coming out, but the excitement is really rolling through San Diego Wave specifically as well. It's one of these secrets that has not been kept well, but still technically a secret with the hiring of the new head coach. This time, not interim. We have a head coach for San Diego Wave coming up. The mentioned Jonas Eideval, who is coming over, formerly Arsenal WSL coach. Tally, as president of the Sirens, you have a vested interest in this, but as well as you being an Arsenal supporter, this kind of works out for you if it does end up happening, as I think it's going to here in the next couple of days.
I'm really hopeful that the rumor is true. Jonas is an exciting coach. I think he'll be a good match for the league, and I think it will be an exciting watch for us to see that style of football.
And obviously, a lot of people who are watching the NWSL now, following San Diego Wave, may not be, into the know of what is to expect from Jonas's play style. And I know you did send a video, and you let me know when to cue that up and to throw it on as well.
Okay, so I'm an avid Arsenal fan, so I've been watching him for the last 3 and something years. It's an attacking style of football. It's a high press. It's quick passes, quick shooting. You can see I see you're putting up. This is a video from the game against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. They lose the ball up top. They press. They fight. You can see 3 players. A defender is the one that's getting it back. Quick passing and Frida Manum with that goal. Amazing goal, actually. But it starts from the press, right? It starts from them being there and not running back the moment they lose the ball.
Yeah, and from that goal, right? Like, we can highlight the highlights. That's what they call the highlights. But it's a very fluid motion and a very offensive style that San Diego Wave has been missing for the last couple of months in this last season. And I think if you have the pieces so far, you don't necessarily have everybody filled out roster-wise for San Diego Wave just yet. But in this scheme, who excites you the most in kind of getting to play the Jonas way for San Diego Wave?
I think we're going to see a lot of growth from Jaden Shaw under Jonas. I think, the style of play that you see from him is a strong striker that gets the ball inside the box. And I think for Jaden to be able to feed that, to be creative on the back end as a 10, that's a huge space for her. I think the way the wingers, we currently have amazing wingers, but I think the style, the high press, the playing through transition will actually really work for them and give them a lot more opportunities. I'm looking forward to see who holds the 9 position as we start the season. But even the college signing Trinity Byers, I think, is very exciting as the future. I hope Carusa comes back, but that kind of style of play, strong, physically strong players, fast transition. What we saw here from Frida Manum was really a good example, but it's also the recruitment that leads you there. I think Arsenal under Jonas recruited some of the top players that we all think about. Alicia Russo, Emily Fox were just a few of the most recent ones, but you think about Victoria Pelova, who's an amazing midfielder for Netherlands. You think about Frida Manum herself, right? The Norwegian player. And it's amazing to imagine what could be in the Wave this year and how exciting it will be.
So in this global search that San Diego Wave sent themselves on last season, landing very locally with one Landon and one Paul Buckle even, are you happy? Are you content with the work done in this global search that has hopefully now landed with Jonas Eideval?
Yeah, I think he's the best coach available. Nobody else beat Emma Hayes more times than he did. nobody else. And that's why he got under her skin, and you could see that there's some conflicts between them, right? But he's a very passionate coach, which I know our crowd here at Snapdragon really wants to see, somebody who's all in. He's very professional. He's very committed to the women's game, which was the complaint we've heard, as we went through the interim coaches. I think we're going to see things we like, and I'm very happy to see the Wave make such an investment in coming back up.
And do you think like this is the individual? A lot of thumbs up are in projection for San Diego Wave, and it seems like the teams really respond well to his play style, and as you said, I think that's an important aspect that everybody's kind of getting to know, if not haven't known it before. Is it's not just on the field tactics; it's a wholesale approach where you have to go ahead and just be all in on the women's game, and it takes a special tact, and that's some criticism for Landon, right? Like, okay, you're throwing this guy out there who doesn't understand the game. Yeah, he understands soccer, but he doesn't understand the nuance that you have to have as you do for any other league. But you mentioned a little bit there, right? The let's say how would you say the shared pleasantries with one Emma Hayes, who now heads the U.S. women's national team, is doing a fantastic job, as you're going to see here. Jonas and Emma just, a little bit.
Emma Hayes is an amazing manipulator of the media. She's also a great coach, but whenever she loses, she will find a way to make it not about her team losing, and she found that way by shoving him. But that's not going to convince the San Diego Wave fans that saying to Casey Stoney to keep speaking her mind and get her fines, We want a passionate coach. We want someone who will fight for our players when they get mistreated on the pitch, and we want to win. So I think that's what Jonas will bring over. I'm actually very hyped, I'll admit. As the rumors started building up, a lot of people come and ask me because I'm an Arsenal fan and because he just left Arsenal after a poor start of the season, but I still think the team he built there is the team that's now won 11 games straight, and that's what we're gonna get.
And that's really what San Diego Wave needs, is that jolt of energy. And obviously a priority has to be keeping players as well. Naomi Girma, like do you also see Naomi Girma flourishing, continuing this track and just going up into the moon where nobody can go ahead and touch her? It's taken a little bit for people to recognize, and she's been snubbed, but I think those in the know who and what Naomi Girma has to bring, and it's important to keep her here.
I mean, I think she's amazing, and she's the best player in the world, in definitely in her position. But if you look at the way Arsenal played with Leah Williamson, you kind of see a very similar style player, a club phenom that everybody admires. And I think their ability to keep Leah Williamson, his ability to keep her happy as she's become the England captain, I think that's something that will play for Naomi to stay at the Wave, to become the U.S. Women's National Team captain, and to really shine in the best place with 32,000 people shouting her name every weekend. So
yeah,
we're ready and we're excited.
I love that. And speaking of ready and excited, right? This is who we're talking to, the president of the Sirens, the official supporter group of San Diego Wave that you can find in the Cove. Talk to me about just this moment, just kind of culminating everybody at the end of a tumultuous season. And that's just being very transparent with what this last year has been. And it's very galvanizing in the way that it brought people together after a tough season, but just kind of
if it could go wrong, it went wrong this year, right? And sometimes even the things that you didn't think could go wrong ended up going really, really wrong. But being there at Front Wave and figuring a way to make that tifo fly, that was an important moment for us. And the message on that tifo is an important message for us, right? Science will always be here. We are here for this team. We will shout and yell. We will demand that this team be the team it needs to be, on the pitch, off the pitch. That's what's important for us. And we love this club, and we will fight for it.
And that's what you've been doing this entire time. And again, kudos for the growth last year. You know, Shiva, Abraham, and I will sit in the press box and just kind of watch that growth in the Cove and just see how you've really made it into your own, in conjunction, obviously, with some people within the club and their positions, just liaisons and whatnot, just being able to really bring in a product that people feel welcomed. And you know, it's one of those things where the Sirens have been the group that has been welcoming other groups that are going to be there at Snapdragon, and really kind of being the pioneers in that way, and really just those the Sirens are the ones who other groups should look to and say, hey, how did you do this? Is there any talk about that just with other partnerships? Like, hey, how'd you guys do the TIFO? Hey, how's this going for you guys? Hey, how's Snapdragon security treating you? Like, you know, is that going?
You know, we work and still working very hard to make the Cove the most loud, but also the most welcoming place that you can be in the stadium. And I think our work started off from our work with locals and learning from them as we became the supporters group for the Wave. And I think now it's about us working with, you know, still locals, but all the other groups as well that are part of the supporters for SDFC, and building a supporters culture here in San Diego that represents what this city stands for, how welcoming we are as a community, how important it is for us to make this a fun and exciting and joyful experience to support our teams.
And support indeed. And if you want to go ahead and be a part of the Sirens, make sure that you sign up, because memberships are out for the 2025 year. Could you please give us a little heads up on what people can expect for the memberships for this new year?
Yeah, so we've launched our memberships early, so you can already get your membership now. It's on our website. The scarves are out. They're beautiful. But even more than that, we have starting to gear up with new art, with new drums, with a lot more exciting experiences, player of the match and player of the season as we did last year, but even more. And now everybody can sign up and be part of presenting those awards. We're going to have more events in North County. We've heard a lot from our members that they want to see watch parties and events going on over there. And we just want to continue and represent this community and bring more exciting football for all of us.
Exactly. And the Sirens have been doing it since day one, getting out there in the community, making it happen. And what's something with this new ownership that you hope to see reflected on the community aspect and really getting out there? Because again, it's a new year, new leaf turn, new coach, new everything, but Sirens still here doing good work. But what's that message to the front office of like, hey, maybe help us out here. We want to see this.
You know, I think we've already seen a lot of growth from the club in the last 2 years as we've been working with them more closely, at least for me, 2 years, and understanding the relationship between the fans and the club and the team. It's grown a lot. And I think that's what we want to make sure continues to grow, this relationship, this ability to identify and really feel proud of your team. And that's what we want to make sure we have, that we can see them in the community, that we can see what they're doing for this city and for this area, and that we can be part of that and mirror that with them.
I love that. A couple questions here, and before I let you go, Tali, president of the Sirens, of supporter group of the San Diego Wave, if you can have just New Year's resolutions for Wave and New Year's resolutions perhaps for the Sirens as well, tacked on that, but just for the team in general, for the operation that happens for the NWSL in Snapdragon Stadium, do you have any just kind of projections, just hopes that, you know what, let's just do this, and I'd be happy with at the end of this 25 year?
I mean, for the Wave, I want to see us play exciting football, and I want to see us back in playoffs. I want to see us play on a pitch that is worthy of the players that step on it. And I want to see Snapdragon with MLS continues to be an amazing experience for everybody that walks through the gates. And we've seen this in some other places where MLS teams come and security becomes very oppositional to supporters. What we want to see at Snapdragon is continuing this collaboration that we've built over these years, making space for for support, making space for fun and joy, and keeping Snapdragon the amazing atmosphere that he has.
Yeah, and you know, you also pioneer with the Sirens. Anything that comes through with the Women's Gold Cup, anything that comes through with CONCACAF tournaments, you know, it's really those growing pains that the Sirens have been going through with Snapdragon throughout. So again, everybody subsequently in that standing only section has you to thank, and the Sirens for again pioneering that. Tali, one last question here, and it's a loaded one where, again, we mentioned it's a tough year, and it was tough kind of weathering that storm and being at the helm of it. And I, you know, I commend this off stream and just in person and however I can with you in leadership of a fantastic job that you individuals, the volunteers, have put together and really representing San Diego when the going got tough there. But yeah, just for you, just why do you keep going, and why do you just kind of move forward and feel so passionately about this and the great work that needs to be done in order to represent San Diego and soccer in San Diego very well, as you have been doing?
I mean, you know, I said that before. I think I said it before here. Before the wave, I didn't think I would call San Diego my home. And the community that is around this team, the community of the Sirens, has made this something that I will fight to stay here, for this, to be part of this community. And what I want to make sure is that we are that community for anybody who wants it, for anybody who needs a space to feel themselves, for everybody who wants to watch football but doesn't know anybody else who can do that or who wants to do that. For anybody who wants to be part of this amazing environment, I want us to be that for them.
I love that. And honestly, it's a real joy seeing people enjoy the game and in a lot of ways educate us, because to be completely honest, much like I say Landon, like I know the game, I just don't know the intricacies of it, and just learning it is almost learning a different language, and it's been incredibly enjoyable. And I want to thank you and everybody who's helped us and really, you know, paid attention to us, and we pay attention to things, and we just throw things out there, and it makes sense, and it's breaking news and whatever. But you know, it's been an adventure here with you and all the support with San Diego Wave and the Sirens. But I want to thank you for that and welcome you again. This is going to be a season for the 2025 season that's going to be very interesting, and so I welcome you to come on whenever you'd like. It's an open invitation to you, and once again, the Sirens, as we'll continue to call the Sirens. If that's all right with you, you can make that executive decision right now.
It is.
Nah.
It is. And thank you so much, Tony. I think the coverage and the attention and putting the focus on the Wave and on women's football in San Diego is valuable and important for all of us, especially as we're going to a world with more than one team now. We want to all build here this community of football fans in the city.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's the beautiful game. It's about the ball. It's about the game, and it's just the game, guys. But it's not. But it is. Tali, really appreciate your time, and we'll send everybody the links. We'll put everything. Sign up for the 2025 Sirens membership, and with that, thank you once again. And we'll throw it back to live to Tony, Chiba, and Abraham.
That was phenomenal, Tony. Thank you for doing that, and thank you, Tali, for taking the time out of her busy schedule to chat with you about the new signing and new head coach for San Diego Wave. That should be announced soon.
Yeah, soon. From what Abe also said,
search is over,
and it landed in with a Norwegian gentleman currently residing in somewhere in Scandinavia.
Other Wave news.
Jeez. Oh no.
As San Diego Wave did announce early this week that Emily Van Ekman and the team mutually parted ways.
Oh boy.
Emily Van Ekman is no more part of San Diego Wave.
Are you running San Diego Wave? Is that what it is?
I don't know, but I think it's about goddamn time Emily Van Ekman fucking ran out of that team. Like,
Jesus.
She's been a catastrophe in that midfield for the past 2 years. Like, just terrible. And
is there anyone you would have started over her though? in the midfield. Like they had no other options.
Yeah, but now they do. Everyone's healthy.
I
Put
guess.
Keelan
But
Sheridan in
who
the
is healthy
midfield.
now? Who? They don't even have a whole team. Like I have sources who say that Jonas has had discussions with first team players, and there was a point of like, hey, so who's on our team? Like who the mechanic of the draft really messed things up for a lot of players across the NWSL, because why go ahead and sign these free agents that are veterans in the league when you could just get a fresh crop of undrafted college players that are still going to bring some good talent to your squad, and then later on, if you have something cooking, if you have something brewing, then you get some talent into the season and add it on. So San Diego Wave again is similar timeline to San Diego FC in terms of the ramp up of the season and their play of 2025 in Snapdragon Stadium. But yeah, once again, thank you, Tali, for that. We're looking forward to more San Diego Sirens, Call the Sirens here on San Diego Football, 2 balls at a mic, and this awesome collaboration. So with that, I think it's time
I'll
we
quickly say my
Chip.
favorite nugget
Yeah.
from that interview was her talking about Jaden Shaw and her possibly developing. Like,
Yeah.
Jaden Shaw is a really young player, and when you really think about it, like how much could she have developed offensively under Casey Stoney, who was a defender, and like what they played not a very offensive style. So when you have someone that's going to be high pressing and them moving forward, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and that's a development that, with Casey, the development of Naomi Girma is going to be great because that's a comparable position and an offensive style. With Aidabal might benefit again a lot of those players on the front. And Melanie Barcenas, like these young talents that are going to be the future for Emma Hayes.
Look, with Jaden Shaw, I can see it going either way. I mean, it's going to be a lot of mental strength and mental mentality, just as an aspect, because
mental mentality. I'm sorry, I love that.
Coming back from an injury, like
Yeah.
it can get in your head and the skill's still there, but if you're scared of getting injured again, then you don't reach your full potential. And we've seen that happen to a lot of soccer players throughout the time. So hopefully that doesn't happen, and hopefully she's able to pull through, because she is going to be a big part of the San Diego Waves team this season.
Absolutely. So with that, gentlemen, we'll go ahead and downshift into the final segment of tonight. We are doing the segments that people love in San Diego Football and 2 balls at a mic. Again, in programming news, tomorrow on this same bat channel, San Diego Soccer's Overtime, the podcast of the MASL, will be on this very channel. And this very channel also houses another podcast, Club Deportivo Movie Club, hosted by Drew Steck and Cesar H. Football. I was actually playing around, like, you guys want to go to their studios? Like, we could do this. Like, here, we're now in Club Deportivo Movie Club, and I can play their superior song.
Is that copyrighted?
No, did we own it? I mean,
Drew created it.
My name is Drew. The powerful Cesar Hernandez.
Like, if you haven't heard this intro song, it's phenomenal.
Whenever crossover pod, this is great.
This is a crossover.
This is a crossover pod. All right, let's go to Soccer's Overtime now, Tony.
Oh, you want to get a preview of what Soccer's Overtime is going to look like?
Let's go to Soccer's Overtime.
All right, let's put you away. You're fine, Abe. No, you're fine, Abe.
No, you're fine, Abe. You're good.
Yeah, let's go. So we're back to 2 balls and a mic.
Hey,
2
balls and a mic.
Club Deportivo and the new house of Soccer's Overtime.
Oh, you don't know my Soccer's Overtime.
That's so this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be really cool. San Diego State player got drafted to Washington. I believe her name is Emma Gaines. Another San Diego State player went to Cholos, the goalkeeper. Cholos Femenil. All right, I feel like I'm in somebody else's house that I shouldn't be. Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go into our last segment: goals, gaps, and greats, where we analyze and see some of the best, worst, and plays or decisions in soccer, preferably locally. So with that, goals. Thank you, David, for saying that love the wave coverage. Now we're going to bring it all year, and it's going to be a fun-filled soccer year. So with that, we'll start with the goals of the week. week comes courtesy of a San Diego native, actually. We've had her on the show before, former guest and friend of the show, Christina Birkenroad, scored in a rout 7-0 against
Season opener, I believe.
Season opener, Rayadas de Monterrey.
Bicampeonas.
Bicampeonas,
Back-to-back champions.
back-to-back
Rayadas.
champs. Christina Birkenroad gave the world this.
En campo ajeno. Jornada 2 Toluca, jornada 3 Querétaro. Regresa a esta su casa frente a las Tuzas. Disparo de Burke.
Candidate for goal of the year for 2025.
So far, goal of the year.
I mean, Rayadas are looking strong, coming back into the season, winning 7-0 Berkey with that golazo. I mean, just looking to make it a 3-peat for Rayadas. So shout out to Christina Birkenroad for making and winning San Diego Punto Fútbol goal of the week.
Just look at that. Just out of position.
Speaking of the Liga MX Femenil, Cholos Femenil beat Tigres today, which is like a huge upset. Tigres also in that final against Rayadas last year. So shout out to Cholos Femenil.
I'm sorry, was Tigres bicampeonas? I don't think so. But anyways, thank you.
They're second place. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. Yeah, Tigres is just known for Liga MX Femenil to just dominate for a couple of years now. But
Dominate the regular season. But in the
I mean,
championship, they've been
back
losing
in
to
the official days.
Monterrey.
They were the best. All right. And now with our, where are we going? Great.
We'll go Gaff.
We'll go Gaff. Oh, Abe, hit us with this one.
San Diego ownership of sports teams is my gaff of the week. Okay, we have very weird news with the Padres that came out today, that you have lawsuits, people fighting over control of the team. And then on the Wave side, there is new ownership that really hasn't spoken to San Diego media, San Diego fans. Supposedly there's a local group of investors that are involved with that San Diego ownership, this new ownership group of the Wave. And I think people deserve to like hear what's happening with the Wave, which is just part of my frustration with the NWSL as well, because you really do no favors in marketing yourself or marketing your game, making it easy to cover from a media standpoint either, when like no one knows what's happening. And obviously if you're the Wave, you're like hiding because you have multiple lawsuits against you, and you're like litigating, according to Tony, that you're litigating against the people that run your field. Like it's a lot of just weird nonsense, and it's not a great start to the New Year's resolution that I asked for.
Preach it, my boy. Preach it. Snaps for Abe. Snaps for Abe.
I mean, I have to definitely agree there. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's not a hard thing to do. Just to, hey, give us an update.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who's in charge?
What are your intentions with my soccer?
Not even that. Just like what's happened. Like they said they're gonna build like a training facility in that first press release too. Like what's happening with that? Like,
yeah, well,
is Jill Ellis still technically an owner because she had part ownership and she was president? She's with FIFA now. Does FIFA own the Wave? Like what's happening?
FIFA
Wave on
owns
Netflix
everyone.
now? Ooh,
FIFA
alongside
owns
WWE
everyone.
Raw.
All right, that's a great gaff for sure. I mean, now it's time to move on to our grade of the week.
Our great of the week is actually courtesy of my other job. I mean, this is not a job.
Let's switch.
Oh, we just want to do this right now. Oh, all right. Look at that. It's actually pretty cool. Giving the preview of soccer's overtime here is actually.
I'll switch it back.
Thank you. Is actually for a San Diego soccer by the name of Tavoy Morgan.
We love you, Morgan. We do.
Mayer tested into his own defensive corner. Cardenas is crashed up on attack. No, Childs has it.
That's Cardenas with the game winner.
That's the goal. Ibarra's goal.
I can't find the goal. Where's the goal?
Tavoy Morgan just shined in this game, right?
There it is. Absolutely. There's Tony with his analysis, slotting it in, creating his own space.
collectively.
I mean, just to avoid Morgan in general with the Soccers, but also the Soccers defeating Chihuahua Savage, who have scored, I believe, in what, 4 or 5 games, 67 goals or something like that, and counting, right?
Yeah, the game before this, they won 21-8 against Tacoma.
That
But
would've been a good goal. That
in
would've been goal of
this,
the week.
yeah, 100%. That was Drew Ruggles, pal and friend of Sandiego Punto Football. But the Soccers actually beat and defeated the Bicampeones Savage for the first time. They were knocked out of the semifinals twice by the Savage in the last 2 years. And they eventually ended up winning the championship from there. So it's the best team in the league coming to San Diego and facing a San Diego Soccers that has some support up in Oceanside. Surprisingly, I'm not gonna lie. Surprisingly, like there's people, there's butts in these seats. It's a good time. It's not gonna lie. It was these things like, well, am I gonna enjoy driving all the way up there and seeing what what you have to offer Oceanside? And you know what? I am pleasantly surprised. Thank you. Yes, whenever I wear a suit, it does kind of elevate the way I look. But look, Tavoy Morgan with some golazos.
48 now, Morgan! He's got it back! Tavoy! Instant answer!
Are you liking Front Wave better than Pachanga?
Absolutely. Like
Okay.
it's not decrepit. In the back, I can walk around in the background, and because it's the Clippers, they have the basketballs, the official basketballs for the G League, just crunched down, and you just walk by next to them, and then there's a just caution tape. But every time I walk by it, I imaginary dunk
No.
on them.
Nice.
So that's something I do.
Hat trick hero.
Probably shouldn't do that. But yeah, Tavoy Morgan getting 4 goals here, helping the San Diego Soccers move past their new arch rivals here in in
Hey,
Chihuahua.
When's the media game? Where's the celebrity
Front
game?
Wave. Hey,
And we better
We're-
get the baller crew out there.
no, 100%. And actually, we are going to go ahead and start the talks of San Diego Punto Football's involvement with a charity match at the YMCA Border View. We're having discussions with potential people who want to come down, maybe some SDFC officials, maybe some San Diego Wave officials,
Maybe some baller crew.
maybe some baller crew. And I think I was going to talk to you about this. How about we split them up and, they are team captains. If they,
Oh,
if
if
they
they're
would like
interested.
to,
If they're
if they're
interested.
interested in,
Pit them against each other. That seems like evil. You
we
can't.
need
That's
to
amazing.
spread the
It's dope.
talent
Mm.
pool.
Well, Tony's the goalkeeper for one.
Because
team,
here's the thing, if
Esteban for the other.
because if I get Sean Bowers from the San Diego Soccers,
Oh, he's a baller.
that guy
that guy can ball.
is the alumni game happened at halftime. There's some 60-something-year-old former San Diego Soccers players that will destroy anybody and everybody we know right now on any given day at that sport.
I
So
like it already. Look at that. Nothing new. I'll
down.
be scoring on Esteban.
ooh,
Check out the Baller Crew over on Instagram, TikTok, all the socials. Baller Crew.
Bucket-
Check them out. Want content creator of the year. in the San Diego
Absolutely.
Football
Running-
awards.
It's so much so that look, I even have the thing ready to go.
Baller Crew.
Baller
That's
Crew.
right.
Yeah, you guys are
Yes,
a
sir.
staple, 100%. All right, so that has been this week's edition of Goals, Gaffes, and Greats, and with season's greetings. Thank you for everybody who's joined us today. Is there anything else across drink recover?
Drink recover. Get your recovery
100%.
in.
You don't have yours, Abe?
Bueno para la cruda.
I still
drank
oh,
it.
You've been
Esteban, I still have your case. I still have it. Trust me. It's going to be good. What day is it on? February 28th. Friday Night Lights, February 28th.
here. Border View YMCA.
Border View YMCA. We'll have a flyer. We'll have more actual visuals as our actual job allows us to
Mhm.
here to announce. But yeah, it's a really cool place to be over at Front Wave Arena. We might move this if it works out to Front Wave Arena. Eventually, later years, the San Diego Punto Football charity match. But in any case, that's where we stand right now. Brian Quinn scored in the Soccers alumni game. Yes, he did. Hey, look, the connections. This is
Coach of the year.
San
for
Diego
Punto
San Diego
Football.
Punto Football Coach of the Year. That's what I was telling Craig in halftime. I'm like, you know who just scored right now? That's Brian Quinn, the winner of San Diego Punto Football Coach of the Year. And you know what he said? What? All right. It's a Friday Night Lights, the last one. Juan Garcia, listening to you guys and realizing Landon has been involved in almost every aspect of San Diego soccer, Soccer's Loyal and Wave, and the San Diego Soccers as well. Absolutely. He has truly been, in a way, Mr. Soccer in San Diego. But guess what? I'm going for that title. I'm going for the king of soccer in San Diego. Me.
Oh, thank you, Diego.
I'm kidding.
I think that's pretty much everything that we have for you all this week.
That is everything that we have for you. I want to thank everybody in the chat who's joined us. Sheila.
Stay tuned on our socials and on our website as we are looking to drop new merch as well. So
Yes,
in
new
the
merch.
coming weeks. So keep an eye out on that. New merch coming soon as well. So thank you for everyone who supported us with their first t-shirt launch. But yeah, keep an eye out on that.
You know what? Turn on the candle for us and ask for some good vibes this way, because there may be a chance that San Diego Punto Football can get out of this garage in this year, and that is a positive that we have. As you got a three-wick candle. Oh, somebody went to.
Oh, that's a Target candle.
That's a Target. That's why it smelled bad when Abe smelled it. Abe, you can find
I just wasn't ready for it. Thank you guys. Love you guys.
Abe_Cepeda. Thank you for everybody who's joined us. I will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. on this same place. Soccer's Overtime will be here. Shout out Trevor. Shout out Brandon. Shout out the Baller Crew. Shout out everybody in the chat. And hopefully you enjoyed this iteration of San Diego Punto Football's presentation of Two Balls and a Mic.
Beat the devil out of it. That really is the fun part of this whole technique. I have more pleasure just beating the brush than anybody in the country. I have people now that write me letters and say they have no desire to paint. They just bought a brush so they can beat it and take out their frustrations. That's okay. That's okay.
You ready? I'm ready. Oh my goodness. This place is off the hook.
Dial 911. Tell the police to get up here quick. Somebody's about to get killed.
That was great.